Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to some UFC news. Today we're taking a look at some news regarding UFC Rio on October the 11th, 2025. It does involve the lightweight division between fighters Charles Olivera and Matuez Gamrot. The two will now face each other after Rafael Fiziev drops out, and the two will face each other at UFC Rio coming up in a couple of weeks. This is a massive fight for fight fans. I know Charles Oliveira has been begging to get a fight recently. He didn't exactly look excited when Matuez Gamrot was calling him out. Matuez Gamrot has called out plenty of UFC fighters in the past, willing to fight anyone and whoever it takes to get to the UFC gold. He does take on Charles Oliveira, who is taking, in my opinion, a short notice fight after his last knockout appearance against Ilia Topuria, getting knocked out for the belt. Charles Oliveira, I do believe, is the number 2 or number 1 contender still after that fight, and Charles Oliveira will end up facing off for his ranking against Matuez Gamrot. And I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this fight. I do believe that in this situation, it does favor Charles Oliveira. The submission grappling of Charles Oliveira is a huge threat for Gamrot in his entire game plan. His game plan is to chain wrestle and try to throw you to the ground, and I'm not sure if Charles Oliveira is going to give up any pressure. I don't think he's going to give up any attempts. I don't think he's going to leave himself on the ground too long. I think Oliveira will eventually begin moving and trying to get to his feet, trying to get to that striking range against Matuez Gamrot, who seems to falter against lesser guys. It seems like Gamrot, when he has to be forced to stand on the feet, he does not feel comfortable. He feels very, very awkward. And Charles Oliveira, being a submission grappler who has very dangerous hands, he doesn't have a problem slugging and brawling it out with a Matuez Gamrot who's looking to get into that win column. I do believe, last time around, yeah, he beat Ludovic Klein, lost to Dan Hooker. Ludovic Klein was kind of a free win for him. This is going to be looking to start that streak for him. He is looking to extend his legacy. He only has good wins over Rafael Fiziev, Jalen Turner, Ludovic Klein. There's not a lot of whole other big names. Rafael dos Anjos is old. He's almost 40 years of age. You can't really give him that. Arman Tsarukyan looked like shit. Diego Ferreira's old as hell. Jeremy Stevens is garbage. He doesn't have a lot of high-level names, and he doesn't have what I would say is the ability to beat Charles Oliveira. I'm going to be going with Charles Oliveira on this one. I think he will get it done. I think he will be a favorite when this fight comes around. I know Charles Oliveira is on a short notice with this, and I do understand that he doesn't exactly have the greatest of chins. I think with Gamrot here, I don't think it's going to be dealing with a lot of heavy shots. I think this is more a precision strike fest, and I think Matuez Gamrot's going to be looking for a lot of ground and pound. I don't think you get that with Charles Oliveira, and I think UFC Rio with this edition is going to be an absolute fire fest. We do have in the main event, Charles Oliveira. Again, this is the replacement for the main event. We also have Davison Figueiredo and Montel Jackson. We have Gabriel Bonfim and Randy Brown. We have Jonathan Dennis and Mario Pinto. That's a fucking can fest. Walter Walker versus Muhammad Usman. That will be a very easy submission victory for Walter Walker. You have Vicente Luque versus Santiago Ponzinibbio, which should be a very impressive win for Vicente Luque, who just recently choked out Thorembo, or Themba Gorimbo, whatever the fuck his name is. And who's the other guy that I was interested in? Arena Alexieva is fighting again. Con Ofley's fighting against Ricardo Ramos. Stuart Nicole's fighting after getting choked out against Jesus Aguilar, I do believe. And it's a pretty stacked up card. It's not the worst. It's not the best, but at least we get a new main event in Matuez Gamrot versus Charles Oliveira. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you did enjoy. This was just some UFC news I thought I would drop on you guys since it did just drop. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. I will talk to you guys all later. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. I'll see you guys later for the Contender Series, and I'll see you guys later for the predictions and breakdowns on this week's UFC card. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.